7 secrets to successful animal farming from experts. So you fancy yourself a bit of a farmer, eh? Got visions of sheep happily grazing in fields and pigs rolling in muck. Well, let me tell you, it's not all bucolic bliss and freshly laid eggs. Animal farming, much like trying to herd cats, can be a right bloody challenge, but with the right know-how, even the most clueless city slicker can make a go of it. Over the next few minutes, we're going to delve into the nitty-gritty of successful animal farming. Know your beast, understanding animal behavior. Right, listen up, you aspiring agriculturalists. The first rule of animal farming, and this is non-negotiable, is to understand the blighters you're dealing with. You see, animals, unlike tractors, come with their own set of quirks and temperaments. Take pigs, for instance. They're not just sausage rolls on legs, you know. They're intelligent creatures with complex social structures. Stick them in a cramped pen and they'll kick up a right stink, literally. Give them space to roam, to socialize, to be pigs, and they'll thrive. And then there are chickens. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Chickens are pure evil. But even these feathered fiends have their own pecking order, their own social hierarchy. Ignore it at your peril. You'll end up with a coop full of half-plucked, traumatized birds. The point is, every animal, from a cow to a quail, has its own unique set of needs and behaviors. Learn to read them, to understand their signals, and you'll be well on your way to a happy and productive farm. Ignore them, and well, let's just say you'll have more problems than you can shake a shepherd's crook at. Remember, a happy animal is a productive animal. Treat them right, and they'll reward you with more milk, more eggs, more of whatever it is you're farming. Mistreat them, and well, you're on your own. Now, I'm not saying you need to become Dr. Dolittle and start having conversations with your livestock, but a bit of observation goes a long way. Watch how they interact, how they behave in different situations. You'll soon start to get a feel for what makes them tick. And don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Get in amongst them, learn their habits, their likes and dislikes. It's the best way to build a bond, a rapport, a mutual understanding that goes beyond farmer and beast. You are what you eat. The importance of quality feed. Now let's talk about food, or more specifically, animal feed. You see, just like us humans can't survive on a diet of crisps and lager, animals need proper, nutritious grub to thrive. And no, I'm not talking about leftover takeaways and stale biscuits. I'm talking about quality, balanced feed that's tailored to their specific needs. Think of it this way. You wouldn't fuel a Ferrari with chip fat, would you? So why treat your livestock any differently? Now I know what you're thinking. Jeremy, this all sounds terribly expensive, and you're not wrong. Quality feed doesn't come cheap, but trust me, it's an investment, not a cost. Feed your animals right, and they'll repay you in spades. They'll grow faster, produce more, and be less susceptible to diseases. It's basic economics, really. Take cows, for example. They're ruminants, which means they've got 4 stomachs. 4. And those stomachs need a constant supply of fiber to function properly. Skimp on the hay, and you'll end up with a herd of bloated, gassy cows that wouldn't produce a drop of milk if their lives depended on it. Chickens, on the other hand, need a protein-rich diet to lay all those lovely eggs. The bottom line is this: you can cut corners in other areas of your farming operation, but never ever skimp on the feed. It's the foundation of a healthy and productive farm. Going green, sustainable farming practices. Now, before you start picturing me hugging trees and wearing sandals made of hemp, let's get one thing straight. Sustainability isn't some hippy-dippy fad. It's about common sense, about looking after the land that frankly dictates whether we eat or starve. See, for far too long, farming has been about squeezing every last drop of productivity out of the earth without a thought for the consequences. And frankly, it's a recipe for disaster. Intensive farming methods might seem like a quick fix, but they're killing the soil, polluting the water, and generally making a mess of the planet. That's where sustainable farming comes in. It's about working with nature, not against it. It's about preserving the land for future generations, not just the next harvest. Now, I'm not suggesting we all go back to living in caves and hunting mammoths, but there are simple things we can do to make our farms more sustainable. Take rotational grazing, for instance. It's a fancy way of saying, don't let your animals eat everything in sight. By moving your livestock around different pastures, you give the land a chance to recover, to regenerate. It's better for the soil, better for the animals, and better for the environment. And then there's reducing waste. Composting turns waste into a valuable resource. Sustainable farming takes a bit more effort, but it's the right thing to do. An ounce of prevention, prioritizing health and veterinary care. Now let's talk about something no farmer wants to think about: illness. It's an unfortunate reality of livestock farming. Animals get sick just like humans, but unlike humans, they can't exactly call the doctor when they're feeling under the weather. That's where you, the farmer, come in. You're not just responsible for their feed and shelter, you're responsible for their health and well-being. And let me tell you, a sick animal is not a happy animal. It's also a drain on your time, your resources, and your profits. That's why prevention is key. It's far better and cheaper to prevent an outbreak than it is to deal with the aftermath. Now, I'm not suggesting you become a veterinarian overnight, but there are simple things you can do to keep your livestock healthy. First and foremost, find yourself a good vet. And I don't mean the kind who treats your prize poodle for anxiety. I'm talking about a proper farm vet, someone who knows their way around a cow's backside and isn't afraid of a bit of mud. Once you've found a vet you trust, work with them to develop a health plan for your farm. This should include regular checkups, vaccinations, and parasite control. Remember, a healthy animal is a productive animal. Embracing the future, utilizing technology in farming. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jeremy Clarkson talking about technology. Has the world gone mad? But hear me out. Technology, believe it or not, is changing the face of farming. And no, I'm not just talking about tractors with GPS and heated seats. I'm talking about precision farming, about using data and technology to make smarter decisions, to optimize yields, to reduce waste, and to make life a whole lot easier for us farmers. Take drones, for instance. Now, I know what you're thinking. Drones? Aren't those just for annoying tourists and spying on your neighbors? Well, yes, but they also have a place on the farm. Imagine this, you're out in the field sipping your tea while a drone soars overhead, scanning your crops, checking for disease, and even identifying areas that need more or less fertilizer. It's like something out of Star Trek, but without the pointy ears and the dodgy special effects. And then there are sensors. These little marvels of technology can monitor everything from soil moisture to animal health. They can tell you when your crops are thirsty, when your cows are in heat, and even when a fox is trying to break into the chicken coop. Embracing technology doesn't mean abandoning traditional farming methods. It's about using technology to enhance those methods, to make them more efficient, more sustainable, and dare I say it, more enjoyable. Two heads are better than one. Networking with other farmers. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jeremy, you want me to talk to other farmers, but they're all a bunch of grumpy old sods who smell like manure and never shut up about the weather. And you're not entirely wrong, but hear me out. Farming can be a lonely business. You spend most of your time surrounded by animals, covered in mud, and wondering why you didn't just get a job in an office. But it doesn't have to be that way. Networking with other farmers, as painful as it may seem, can be one of the most rewarding things you do. Think of it like this. You're all in the same boat, facing the same challenges, dealing with the same unpredictable weather, and trying to make a living in an industry that's about as stable as a herd of drunken cows. So, why not share your experiences, your knowledge, and your complaints with people who actually understand? Never stop learning. The importance of continuous learning. Now, I know what you're thinking, Jeremy. You want me to read books, but I finished school years ago. And you're right, you did. But here's the thing about farming. It's constantly evolving. What worked yesterday might not work tomorrow. New technologies emerge, new challenges arise, and the climate, well, let's just say it's not getting any more predictable. That's why it's crucial to be a lifelong learner. You need to stay ahead of the curve, to adapt to change, and to constantly be on the lookout for ways to improve your operation. Now, I'm not suggesting you enroll in a PhD program in agricultural science, but there are plenty of ways to keep learning without turning into a complete nerd. Attend industry conferences, read trade publications, listen to podcasts, watch documentaries, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Outro, sowing the seeds of success. So there you have it, 7 secrets, straight from the horses, well, from my mouth. Remember, successful animal farming isn't about luck. It's about understanding your animals, investing in their well-being, working with nature, embracing technology, and never ever stopping learning. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got a farm to run.